The details of the deadly COVID-19 outbreak at the Holyoke Soldiers Home brought to light once more as two of the former administrators of the home faced a judge today. Former Superintendent Bennett Walsh and former Medical Director David Clinton face caretaker bodily injury charges and neglect charges handed down by the Attorney General after 77 veterans died from the outbreak.
Today in court, they sought to dismiss those charges against them as family members of the veterans who died watched. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo is live with the details. Audrey.
No decision was ultimately made today as to whether or not they dismissed those charges, even after an all-day hearing.
Everything was just so mismanaged and chaotic up there.
Lori Mandeville-Beaudet's father, James, died after she says he was in the fray of the COVID-19 outbreak at the Holyoke Soldiers Home last spring.
He was supposedly COVID negative, and within 48 hours he was showing signs of COVID at the Holyoke Medical Center, and he died within a week and a half of being down there.
Her father is not one of the 5 veterans named in the Attorney General's case, bringing criminal neglect and bodily injury charges against former Home Superintendent Bennett Walsh and former Medical Director David Clinton. But as she sat with other family members of late veterans, listening to the defendant's lawyers try to get the charges dismissed in court, it brought up one emotion.
It's infuriating.
Bennett Walsh's attorney contending that he didn't fit the definition of a primary caregiver to the vets, and that mere exposure to COVID-19 doesn't constitute a bodily injury.
The Commonwealth failed to produce evidence of direct bodily injury, an element of the crime, to the grand jury. The reason they failed is because there wasn't any bodily injury.
But the attorneys for the Commonwealth argue that the top-down decision made by the Home's administration to consolidate ill and healthy veterans into one dementia unit exposed the residents to COVID-19.
Exposure to a virus, which for these individuals, dementia patients, veterans who were frail and elderly, that would not constitute bodily injury.
As for Mandeville-Beaudet, who placed her father in the care of the home, she tells Western Mass News she wants to see accountability at every level.
They were the captain of the ship, and they let the ship sink.
The next date for this case is October 28th. In the meantime, a worker at the Soldiers Home has filed a civil case against 5 of the upper managers at the home during the time of the pandemic. That case includes David Clinton and Bennett Walsh, and it alleges that those 5 upper managers threatened the civil rights of the employees at the home. Live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.